Hey everyone, welcome back to BikeBeat, your home for everything two-wheeled and thrilling. Today we're diving deep into one of the most anticipated motorcycles of the year, the 2025 Royal Enfield Shotgun 650. This machine has been turning heads ever since it was unveiled, not just for its looks but for what it represents: a perfect blend of retro attitude and modern engineering. It's bold, muscular, and unapologetically different. So, settle in, because we're going to break down everything you need to know about the Shotgun 650, how it looks, how it rides, how it feels, and most importantly, whether it's worth your money. At first glance, the Shotgun 650 instantly commands attention. It's low-slung, compact, and carries that unmistakable bobber stance. Royal Enfield calls it a factory custom, and that's exactly what it feels like: a production motorcycle that looks like it rolled straight out of a custom workshop. The silhouette is tight and muscular, with a short wheelbase and thick tires giving it a purposeful, planted look. The LED headlight housed in a minimal nacelle, the sculpted 13.8-liter fuel tank, and the stubby rear fender all come together to create a design that's both aggressive and elegant. Every inch of this bike screams craftsmanship. One of the standout features is its modular design. The Shotgun's rear subframe allows you to swap between configurations. You can have a solo seat, add a pillion seat, or even mount a luggage rack. That's a level of flexibility you rarely see in a motorcycle of this kind. It gives you freedom to express your personality. Want a stripped-down bobber for Sunday rides? Done. Need a two-up setup for weekend trips? You can do that too. Royal Enfield has clearly designed this bike for riders who love custom culture but also want factory reliability and ease of ownership. Under the skin, the Shotgun 650 uses the brand's proven 648 cubic centimeters parallel twin engine, the same one you'll find in the Interceptor and Continental GT. It's an air and oil-cooled motor that produces about 47 horsepower of power and 52 Nm of torque, paired to a 6-speed gearbox with a slip and assist clutch. The beauty of this engine lies in its character. It's not about peak performance or insane top speeds, it's about smooth, usable torque, that satisfying thump, and a linear power delivery that feels natural whether you're in city traffic or cruising down the highway. It's got a meaty mid-range that lets you pull cleanly without constantly shifting gears, and it sounds fantastic doing it. The exhaust note is deeper and throatier than the Interceptor's, tuned specifically for the Shotgun's bobber personality. The ride and handling are where this bike really shines. It sits on a tubular steel frame developed by Enfield's UK Technology Centre, and suspension is handled by Showa, with 43mm big piston USD forks at the front and twin shocks at the rear. The setup gives it a firm but composed ride. Around town, it feels stable and confident. Out on the open road, it's rock solid. It may not flick side to side like a naked street bike, but it holds a line beautifully through corners. You can actually lean it a fair bit before anything scrapes, and that's something few bobber-style bikes can claim. Braking is handled by a 320mm disc up front and a 300mm disc at the rear, with dual-channel ABS as standard. The bite is strong and progressive, and there's plenty of feel through the lever. The wide tires not only look the part but also offer excellent grip. The overall braking setup complements the bike's weight and power perfectly. Speaking of weight, at around 240 kilograms, it's not light, but the low center of gravity makes it surprisingly manageable. Once you're moving, the weight disappears. The low seat height of 795mm helps shorter riders feel at ease, and the ergonomics hit a sweet spot: the mid-set pegs, slightly forward handlebars, and that low seat combine to create a riding position that's comfortable yet commanding. In terms of comfort and practicality, the Shotgun 650 scores well for short and medium-distance rides. The seat padding is firm but supportive, and the suspension absorbs most of the bumps you'll encounter in the city. On long rides, you might feel the need for a more cushioned seat or a backrest, but that's easily solved with accessories. The mirrors provide good rear visibility, and the switchgear quality feels premium. The overall build feels solid, and nothing rattles or feels cheap. The instrument cluster is a familiar semi-digital setup: a circular unit with an analog speedometer, a digital display for trip information, fuel level, gear position, and the Royal Enfield Tripper navigation system. It's simple, functional, and fits the aesthetic perfectly. You also get full LED lighting, including the headlamp, indicators, and tail lamp, which give it a modern touch while maintaining the retro charm. There's also a USB-C charging port discreetly placed for your devices. The fuel tank capacity stands at 13.8 liters, and the bike delivers roughly 22 kilometers per liter in real-world riding conditions. That gives you a range of around 270 to 300 kilometers before needing a refill. Not massive, but decent for its class. The clutch is light, the gearbox is smooth, and even in heavy traffic, it doesn't feel like a chore to ride. Heat management has been improved compared to earlier Enfield twins, with the engine running cooler and smoother in stop-go situations. Now, let's talk about the pricing. In India, the 2025 Royal Enfield Shotgun 650 starts at 3.94 Indian rupees lakh ex-showroom for the base variant and goes up to around 4.09 Indian rupees lakh for the top color options. On road, that translates to somewhere between 4.5 Indian rupees and 4.8 Indian rupees lakh depending on where you live. For international buyers, the US price starts around $6,899, with the limited edition Icon version priced at about $7,699. For what you're getting, a twin-cylinder engine, premium suspension, top-notch finish, and head-turning design, that's serious value. So, what sets the Shotgun 650 apart from the rest? First, it's the style. This is not your average retro motorcycle, it's a statement. The design is aggressive yet clean, modern yet timeless. It's the kind of bike that turns heads at a red light or parked outside a cafe. Second, the engine character. Royal Enfield's 650 Twin has already proven itself to be one of the most refined and enjoyable engines in its segment. In the Shotgun, it feels even better tuned, with a richer exhaust note and slightly sharper throttle response. Third, the modularity. Few bikes in this price range give you so much flexibility. You can literally change the look and utility of your motorcycle without needing aftermarket parts. Of course, there are a few compromises. At 240 kilos, it's heavy. You'll feel that when pushing it around in tight spaces or parking. The fuel tank could have been slightly larger for touring purposes. And while it's comfortable, it's not a full-fledged tourer. You'll want to add accessories if you plan on long road trips. But none of these are deal breakers, they're just things to keep in mind based on what you expect from the bike. On the road, the Shotgun 650 feels composed, confident, and downright fun. The engine hums smoothly at highway speeds, and you can cruise all day between 100 and 120 km per hour without a hint of strain. The gearbox clicks neatly through gears, and that parallel twin growl keeps you smiling. Around corners, the chassis feels predictable and balanced, giving you confidence even when pushing it a little harder. The suspension setup does a good job of filtering out smaller imperfections, though really bad roads will remind you that this is still a firm, sporty ride. Overall, the Shotgun 650 isn't about numbers, it's about feel. It's for the rider who values character over specs, design over excess technology, and craftsmanship over gimmicks. It's a bike that invites you to slow down a little, enjoy the ride, and make it your own. That's it for today's episode of BikeBeat. If you enjoyed this review, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know in the comments what you think of the Shotgun 650. Would you ride one? Would you customize it? Or do you think Royal Enfield should have done something different? Thanks for watching, ride safe, and I'll catch you in the next one.